Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome to WatchYouWant.com. Thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at a signature reference from a company that, despite a checkered history of profitability, needs no introduction and is held in the absolute highest regards by fans of high horology. On a solid footing since 1983, thanks to the Schneiders, Ulysse Nardin is a company that has historically been renowned for its production of high-quality marine chronometers and professional navigation instruments. Now, it's worth noting that in 1983, when Rolf Schneider actually rescued the company from bankruptcy, they were pretty much reduced to just one thing, the only thing that they did really, really well, continuing to assemble and service their historic marine chronometers. And they were so good at it that by the early 1980s, with quartz technology well established and even early GPS becoming available, customers were still sending their old marine chronometer navigation units back to the factory in Locle, Switzerland for service and restoration. That's how good UN was. And to celebrate that heritage of maritime excellence, Ulysse Nardin, the revived modern version of the company, has issued a series of marine chronometer watches built in the image of those historic navigation instruments. Now, the marine chronometer was actually developed during the 19th century in order to help calculate very precise latitude and longitude. Now, prior to the invention of chronometers, it simply wasn't possible to get a precise fix based on astral readings at night. But with the chronometer, everything changed. For once, accurate navigation, timely navigation course changes, ability to define and localize shipping lanes, keep ships on track, keep navies on track. This became possible, and it became possible principally because of developments in horology, of which Ulysse Nardin was a prime protagonist during the late 19th century. Their marine chronometers were typically a lot bigger than this. Think 50, 60 millimeters across. Often mounted on a ship's bridge, they'd be gimbaled so that they could sort of float and be resistant to the rocking motion of the ship, but they looked almost exactly like this marine chronometer watch. Now, there have been a couple of instances of the marine chronometer watch through the years. The first one was quite small at only 38 millimeters, and then later on there was the Maxi marine chronometer at 43 millimeters. This is the 41 millimeter marine chronometer. And despite its size, it is the spit image of the original. Everything from the large applied Arabic numerals to the rehaut with the individual minute sectors on the side to these Baroque, almost compound Foy cathedral hands, the power reserve, and the 60-second small second subdial at 6 o'clock is original to the Ulysse Nardin marine chronometer design. The coining of the bezel, everything including the dedication, the tribute on the back, showing the 18 gold medals that were won by Ulysse Nardin marine chronometers in international competition, is a loving homage to a bygone era and the instruments that established that Ulysse Nardin reputation. And if you've always wondered why Ulysse Nardin watches are associated with the color blue, and you can see it here in the strap, you can see it here even in the push button of the clasp, and of course that beautiful soleil metallic dial, it's because they made their name at sea, and it shows. Now, this watch is actually powered by Ulysse Nardin UN-26 movement, and true to its name, it is a certified COSC Swiss chronometer. That's actually a designation that's protected by international convention. You cannot call something a Swiss chronometer unless it is made in Switzerland and meets the standards of identity therein. Plus, it has to meet the 15-day COSC chronometer test. The watch is tested in multiple positions. It is tested over those 15 days against 3 separate temperatures, and there is a maximum variation for any given 24 hours of -4 plus 6 seconds, which, if you look at the percentage as a portion of a 24-hour period, is far, far, far better than 1% of 1%. It is an extraordinary degree of accuracy, and this is a certified Swiss chronometer. So small though it may be, it continues the tradition set out by those 18 gold medals, the Ulysse Nardin marine chronometers, and their incredible heritage of precision at sea. Now, this watch presents in outstanding condition. It does have extensive factory accessories available from watchyouwant.com. I just want to draw your attention to some of the finer points of this example, which presents as new in the hand and actually just feels great on the wrist. Lightweight, compact. It has a double articulated lug system that you can see right here. So it's actually hinged at the case where it conforms to the lugs, so there's no unsightly gap between the strap and the lugs themselves. But then there's a double hinge. There's a piece of titanium that's inserted, and that double hinge allows the semi-stiff conforming strap to bend with great souplesse around even a smaller wrist. Now you can see my wrist is 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters, and this fits me like a glove. Because it does use the ETA 2892 in chronometer grade, not only is it accurate, but it's quite thin. The 2892 among mass-produced auto-winding movements in the Swiss watch industry is one of the absolute thinnest available. For all the features you get, a power reserve indicator at 12 o'clock, small seconds at a date at 6, automatic winding, and a chronometer rating, this watch is remarkably thin, and the movement inside it is remarkably fine. Numbered on the side, you can see that individual numbering on a plate at 9 o'clock that is characteristic of the original Ulysse Nardin Marine Chronometers, and the coining of the bezel likewise recalls the original machines. Now, the bracelet down here is worthy of mention because not only is it titanium, but it features an exquisite double deployant design, which is both convenient because it makes fitting easy, but also because it's very secure. Now, anytime you have a trigger release, you've automatically got more security built into the clasp mechanism than you would have if you had, say, a friction fit. With a double trigger, you've got that extra measure of security. It's just the extra measure of quality that you get in a Ulysse Nardin timepiece, and this is an outstanding example. If you were to look at the Ulysse Nardin line today, there's a lot of high horology, the Freak, the Anchor Escapement, the Dual Ulysse. They've had the Trilogy of Time. They've had the Automata, watches that literally blow the mind with their complication. But if you want to talk about an emblematic watch, a flagship watch that really represents where they've been and where their heritage is historically, you can't do any better than the Ulysse Nardin Marine Chronometer line. And this example from watchyouwant.com is quite possibly the quintessential modern Ulysse Nardin wristwatch. Check it out in high-resolution photography on our website, watchyouwant.com. I'm confident that if you're looking for a sports watch that's got just a little bit more history, refinement, and a great story behind it, this Ulysse Nardin Marine Chronometer could be the watch you want.